Today I'm taking you on a little trip. One of my artworks has found a new home in Tampere, and I'm delivering it there personally.
Kulkusuuntaan nähden ensimmäisenä vaunu numero 1 alakerrassa.
This also happens to be the only trip this summer when I've had the chance to just wander around and enjoy my own company. In case you are wondering which painting I have packed with me, it's this one I finished back in late winter. It was part of my solo exhibition in Kauhajoki this past March, and now it's finally time for it to move into its forever home. It took such a long time to finish this fellow, and it reminds me of those cold days when the evening sun turns the landscape golden. I've always loved the sound of the train, and early mornings are very peaceful and quiet. I've always cherished traveling alone because it gives me the space to stop and wonder, or just sit in silence.
And Intercity train 910 to Turku 910.
I just arrived to Tampere and I delivered the painting for its new owner, and it was really nice to do that face to face. Now I have a few hours here at Tampere. I'm going to get some coffee and maybe go to see some art. I know it might sound a little bit funny, but my only wish for this summer was to visit Pyynikki Observation Tower for coffee and a donut. And I know it doesn't really sound like much, but it was something I really wanted to do this summer, and I'm glad I did. This elevator is making a lot of noise. To be honest, I'm a bit afraid of heights, but the view here is so beautiful. I just decided to come up and face that fear. From up here, the city doesn't feel so overwhelming anymore. I can't hear the noise of the traffic, and watching the treetops sway in the wind feels somehow soothing. It feels like a small break from the hectic city life. I think this was the first time in maybe months when I've been fully relaxed. I'm not a big fan of public transport in a strange city, so I walk everywhere. Walking is such a great way to explore. It's easier to notice interesting details when the scenery isn't just rushing past a bus window. I had big plans to visit galleries, and I did. But mostly I just ended up sitting in parks, looking at quirky, slightly worn-out shop windows, street art and flower displays. Even though I only spent a couple of hours in Tampere, the noise and suffocating heat were already getting to me. Unfortunately, the journey back home wasn't any quieter than the city, and the trip ended up being really noisy, and I got overwhelmed. It was barely afternoon when I got back home, but I was already exhausted. I've always been sensitive to noise, but the contrast between this large, busy city and my small balcony is massive. I might not be able to live in the middle of a forest or the countryside just yet, but I truly appreciate not having to listen to constant traffic at home. Even though the trip to Tampere was short, I'm glad I could deliver the painting to the buyer in person. It feels like the perfect ending to this painting's journey, and now I can make space in my studio for something new. I'm not sure what that will be just yet, but time will tell. For now, I'm just going to take a breath before the next adventures begin.